Today we're going over the new Heroes banner for Fates and the new Entwined Hero type. Entwined Ash comes with new support partner related benefits, and we'll discuss what all this entails when we get to her later. From Fates, we have newcomer Scarlet finally joining Fae, and new versions of the Hoshidan royalty, Rearmed Hinoka, and Attuned Ryoma. We'll talk about everyone's stats and skills, plus discuss during a playdown other build ideas. Before we dive into the banner, due to Ash taking up a spot, we have one more Fae newcomer from Fates, and that is Shura. He is the instant Demote, and due to the new Entwined Hero type, we're getting some ongoing quests where you can get 2 5-star copies of Shura. Starting with next month's seasonal banner, Shura will be available in that 3 to 4-star Demote pool. Shura will be a green infantry archer and will be the first free-to-play offering in this class type. For stats, Shura has 40 HP, 45 attack, 48 speed, 19 defense, and 47 resistance. He has a speed super boon, pretty good offensive stats, but that 47 res is pretty noteworthy. Shura will have the unique high speed and res stat spread for the free-to-play archers. Springland Heart actually beats Shura in every stat except speed, but that's where Shura spends his investment. Nihir's Innis is another fast archer from this year, but he also puts points into defense, where Shura just drops defense completely. The stat spread has a lot of build options, which is pretty fun. For old skills, Shura has Glacy, so speed ploy, and will bring speed and defense tempo into the free-to-play pool. Not too shabby, although we also have a Secret Seal version of that skill if you really want tempo's effects. For his weapon, Shura has the Discord Bow Plus. At start of either phase, if foes within 3 rows or columns have 5 less res than the user, inflict -7 attack and defense and discard on those foes. If foe initiates combat or has high HP, the user gets +5 attack and res, and if Discord's active on that foe, the user gets a free follow-up attack and prevents 1 follow-up. Discord Bow Plus is the same weapon as Springland Heart's Carrot Bow Plus. This is about a year and a half old, and it's an okay partial support weapon for high-res archers like Shura here. The Discord status inflicts stat debuffs if the foe is surrounded by friends. It's an okay addition, and the Discord Bow user can get Omnibreaker against those enemies. Not the most decorated inherited bow, but it is a support option. For playstyle, if you want to lean into the support role, Discord Bow's attack and defense debuffs compare well with Speed and Res Havoc or Ploy. These are res-based debuffing skills as well, so stacking flat res with Crystalline or Still Water will help with consistency. If you add Speed and Res Havoc, you will debuff all 4 stats, and you double it up with Sabotage. Schism can be nice to have, and then Shura will get Kanto 1, which is pretty cool. He'll get some true damage as well. Since our stat debuffs are covered, we can go with Pulse of Ploy in that C slot to get -1 cooldown every turn while inflicting Ploy and exposure. This won't be the craziest build for personal combat, but Shura can make his way to charging Glacies or Ice Wall over time. For Arcane Hexbow, Shura can set up Curved Shot, Deadeye, or those Glacy/Ice Wall specials easier. Pulse of Ploy would be nice to keep, although times Pulse can be better for constant fighting. If you wanted to run Havoc still, Creation Pulse could be used for -10 instant cooldown. With the Hexbow, you can fire off those 4 cooldown specials immediately. On the topic of higher cooldown specials, since Shura is green, he could use the cooldown perks of Arch Rival. With Hexbow and the -1 cooldown from, say, times Pulse, if Shura initiates on a blue foe, he can trigger Arch Rival immediately. Now obviously, Shura's defense is terrible, but if you did want to try and get cute, you could try to run the Heart Bow for 60% damage reduction on first fights. If the foe doesn't have DR Piercing, then that would get 76% damage reduction with Curved Shot or Arch Rival. Might be something funny to try out. Another defensive build can be with Lagu's Friend. With Hexbow, you can run Ice Wall for a big DR Piercing special counterattack. If you'd rather be aggressive, Shura can play into his fine offensive stats. Hex Edge for 50% piercing, Speed Taker for true damage and no guard. We got no follow-up in every slot, or finish skills for special focus setups. Tempo's going to be fine as a Sacred Seal, or you can use the tier 4 B skill or the Echo version. For other inheritable bows, you could try snaking for DR Piercing specials, Stall Game for up to 25 true damage, Doubler for team buffing, Gainful for no follow-up and attack and speed stacking, and there is still Golden Yule Bow for instant cooldown. Additionally, nothing wrong with a good old Brave Bow. We got Ninja Brave Bows or the Whitecap Bow. All in all, Shura is a solid Demote, first of his class type, the only free-to-play archer with this pure high speed and res focus, and you can get 2 free copies right now. Always needs to have some playstyle options, just watch out for those physical damage enemies. Onto the actual banner, Scarlet is the 4-star focus unit. You can get her at 4 to 5-star rarity, and she will demote through the 4-star pool after the banner ends. Scarlet will be a nice addition because she's our first new X-Flyer Demote since the launch of the game. Our last heroic grow option was also more than 5 years ago, so if you want a modern X-Flyer, then Scarlet can be a great merge project. For stats, Scarlet has 40 HP, 48 attack, 46 speed, 45 defense, and 21 resistance. She has an attack super boon. In terms of attack speed and defense, I believe Scarlet comes out on top among all the free-to-play options. This will of course come at the cost of HP and res, but otherwise a very fun stat spread if you like faster flyers. For old skills, Scarlet has Ignis for her special and speed and defense catch 3, which I believe is also on Somerset. Her new rare addition to the free-to-play pool is Flow Flight 3. This is a sword, lancer, axe flyer skill that is player phase only and gives offense in a follow-up, which is the flow effect. Similar to Wyvern Flight, Flow Flight does a speed check. If you meet that condition, next you do a defense comparison. If you have 10 or more defense, you can get up to 7 true damage and 7 flat DR. To be honest, not a bad option for a budget B skill. Flow Flight was only ever on Spring Maria. For her weapon, Scarlet brings the Doubler Axe Plus. At start of turn, if within 2 spaces of an ally, grant plus 6 second defense to unit and those allies. If initiating or near an ally, gain bonus stats equal to 4, plus the highest field buff on each stat between unit and allies within 2 spaces. We've had Doubler Sword and Lance, now comes the Axe version. These weapons are basically bonus Doubler 4 weapons, and it also comes with plus 6 attack and defense field buffs for your team. You can then use them as basic support weapons, or you could try to stack bonus Doubler effects. As always, Igniter's plus 3 field buff buffing is great with these. In case the enemy neutralizes your field buffs, you can still borrow from nearby allies to get some stats. For general playstyle, Scarlet can use Doubler Axe for buffing and then Flow Flight to initiate to double. You can use Speed and Res 03 for a simple C skill to fully buff all 4 stats. Speed and Defense catch is okay, but Clash is generally better. In a normal follow-up scenario, Scarlet won't be able to trigger Ignis even with Heavy Blade. You're going to have to knock that down to 3 cooldown Bonfire. For a more premium setup, Oddspeed Wave 4 can add speed buffs to Doubler Axe, and Scarlet can still follow. Air Orders 4 is another option for this. Now for a player phase build, Excel will be fine, but without Kanto you may want Blue Skies instead. Potent Assault or Assault Force can be solid B skills for damage. If you use Aerial Maneuvers or Trample, you can also add Desperation to pair it down follow. On this banner, there's a new B skill option. Air Superiority has speed and defense scaling true damage with Potent follow-up. It then comes with Emblem Celica's Warp ability, and built-in pass, it's a very spicy initiation tool. To complement this type of build, you can run Haze Slice or Celestial Form. For other inheritable weapons, Scarlet has a lot of attack and defense options such as Tropical Conch, Wind Tribe Club, or Axe of Devotion. For a currently available option, Gladiator Cullen on the previous banner has the Arena Axe, Speed and Defense Shackle for debuffing, then speed scaling true damage and flat damage reduction. It's a fun weapon and it can facilitate a support build if you don't want to go full combat. Scarlet can use those new favorite B skills from the Gladiator banner, plus you can rep many support skills like Guidance or Crux to help out your team. For the arcane options, Arcane 3 is fine for no follow-up. Giant Axe typically is going to be better due to its larger stat boost, cooldown perks, and then true damage plus flat DR. Now it may not be the best build, but since we do not get units like Scarlet often, I would like to mention Wyvern Rift. You still need Rosado for this, but it's one of the only skills to increase the speed roll for follow-ups. You won't need to build for speed, but this is one option to try and stop the faster enemies from doubling, plus it can counteract Potent. Another way to do this is with Frozen. Either way, Wyvern Rift can add some extra true damage and flat DR. You can get more of both via Blue Skies plus Arcane Giant Axe. To get unpierceable DR, Arch Rival is the best option since it always works and stays active for brave hits. Scarlet can also use the new Flame Wall or Celestial Form. She might be able to actually trigger those lower cooldown specials in battle. For other skills, Breath of Life 4 or Odd Defense Wave 4 are interesting defense focused skills. Distant Counter plus Out Shield can be used on your high defense flyer. If you want Kanto, we have a new option with Tumultuous Echo, that is also on this banner. Otherwise, Scarlet can use Crux, Soaring, or even Sly Echo. As usual, any of the fly mobility options are fine. The newer Hold Guide C skills can give allies and Scarlet 2-space warping. All in all, Scarlet is the first free-to-play axe flyer in 5 years, so she'll be a fine addition. She joined at a pretty good time because we've been amassing quite a lot of new skills for melee flyers. Next up, after 4 Archer ults, Rearmed Hinoka is returning to being a Lance Flyer. For stats, Hinoka has 40 HP, 48 attack and speed, 36 defense, and 28 res. Pretty standard offensive spread, though slightly higher defense focus. She's got a nice speed super boom. For old skills, Hinoka has Haze Slice and Blue Skies. Pretty good fodder already. Hinoka's weapon is the Arcane Crimson Lance. 16 might, this weapon inflicts -5 attack speed and defense to foes within 3 rows or columns of the user. Naturally, this is a slaying weapon. If foe initiates or the user is above 25% health, grant up to +9 to all stats if the foe has 72 flat attack. Like other arcane weapons of this generation, you get 15% attack true damage and flat DR. Both are going to work for AoE specials. You can also get -1 cooldown before attacking, and after combat you heal 7 HP. Arcane Crimson is the third Arcane Lance. Slaying, Preempt Pulse, True Damage, and Flat DR are all staples of the current Arcane weapons. The stat boost, it will be slightly lower on Crimson because the user will also benefit from the -5 Crux debuffing the weapon inflicts. The user will have some sustained healing, and obviously allies can benefit from the debuffs if he can line up correctly. Nothing too crazy here. If you want cooldown, pretty tough to beat this weapon. The lances have been fortunate though to also have the very good Johanna lance if you're looking for something good and free to play accessible. To stand out, Hinoka has a unique C skill, Encouragement. At start of turn, if within 2 spaces of an ally, grant +6 attack and speed, treachery, and incited to a Hinoka and those allies. If your foes within 3 rows or columns, inflict another -5 attack speed and defense, neutralize enemy field boss, and give allies 50% DR piercing when facing those foes. For herself, Hinoka can get 7 true damage, full no follow-up, and then if she triggers a potent follow-up, she's gonna deal 100% damage. Encouragement is quite the assortment of buffs. Treachery's dangerous status granting true damage based on total field boss. Hinoka will then stack more in combat buffing with Arcane Crimson. In total you got -10 attack speed and defense, and then you also get low and 50% piercing. Last, for herself, no follow-up is always nice, and then a 100% potent hit. To actually use that last perk, Hinoka has Air Superiority, which we mentioned earlier. This is a new flyer B skill for sword, lance, and axe users. First off, this skill has Pass plus the same warping effect as Emblem Celica's Ring. If a foe is within 5 spaces, you can warp to the nearest space of that foe. For combat perks, you get to inflict -4 speed and defense, and you'll deal true damage equal to 20% of the greater of speed or defense. Last, if the foe is cavalry or a flyer, you get a potent follow-up attack. You can also trigger the potent follow-up in the usual fashion by theoretically lowering the speed roll by 25. Air Superiority requires Flyer Formation 3 or Aerobatics 3. We have many free-to-play flyers with these skills, so actually pretty easy to fodder off this cool new skill. Ironically, Air Superiority is a skill from the Kinshi Knights, but Kinshi Archers cannot use this skill in Fae. Also, this Hinoka ult is on her usual Pegasus. Air Superiority is going to be pretty interesting. I think it technically is our first pass skill upgrade, and we went straight to Emblem Celica levels of warping. Damage-wise, this skill is similar to Potent Assault, except you get the potent hit versus cows or flyers at all times. You will lose the 50% DR piercing, but if that's fine to you, then Air Superiority might be the new go-to for flyers. Now normally, Potent requires you to be somewhat fast, but since the true damage scales with speed or defense, you could run this on slower high defense flyers. You would still be able to get that 80% follow-up on enemy calves or flyers, so while niche, definitely don't discount slower users. For playstyle, Hinoka brings quite a lot of support. You need to stay near the team to buff up and then line up enemies in that 3-row, 3-column range. Generally, Hinoka wants to initiate using Air Superiority. With Arcane Crimson plus Haze Slice's cooldown, she will instantly proc that special. Hinoka will tank counterattacks with Haze Slice's 40% DR and then flat DR via Crimson and Blue Skies. Tanking the counter and then doing a follow-up with Recharge Haze Slice. With her 100% potent attack, Hinoka can proc the special again. After combat, you can get Kanto 2 to retreat. Do need to be a little careful of Hinoka if she gets fully buffed up. As usual, Ignitor will be great for any kind of treachery teams. Hinoka then has 4 other true damage sources from her entire base kit. If you want to avoid counterattacks, Hinoka could run Trample in that A slot. Desperation plus no follow-up plus the 100% potent hit is quite deadly. You would lose Kanto, although Hinoka technically can regain it via Tumultuous Echo. Now for other changes, Hinoka can run Celestial Form. It might do more damage than Haze Slice, but you can't get the instant trigger. Another percent DR option is Arch Rival. Arcane Crimson really helps charge it, but Hinoka doesn't have no guard or any other cooldown perks besides the Heavy Blade Sacred Seal. Now a dangerous special with Air Superiority is Gale Force. Cooldown still an issue, but if you can trigger it, then Hinoka can warp behind the front line after. The new Gale Force Mist does give 40% DR if you wanted the same survivability as Haze Slice. For Sacred Seals, Attack and Speed Clash can actually get maxed out with the long range warping. If Hinoka does get on lower HP, you could use Desperation for another triple tap, but Arcane Crimson heals and it doesn't trigger under 25% health, maybe not the most reliable game plan. For attuned skills, Soaring Echo would be nice for guidance follow-ups. You could also run Crux Echo to further stack debuffs, minus 13 attack speed and defense, and then a free follow-up on top the other buffing. Overall, Rearmed Hinoka can pack quite a punch, but Treachery can be stopped easily by buff neutralization, and can Hinoka survive counterattacks to get to 100% potent hit. At the very least, mobility won't be an issue. If you're within 5 spaces, Hinoka is just gonna fly in undisturbed. The last time Ryoma got an ult, 3 houses wasn't even released. How funny that we're still going to be talking about that game thanks to Fortune's Weave. Now, Attuned Ryoma seems to be based on Corrin primarily, although maybe the white armor could be for his father, Sumeragi, as well. Gotta love that he does a full-on backflip in his animations. Like Hinoka, Ryoma is returning to his roots as the launch day swordmaster. For stats, Ryoma's got 40 HP, 47 attack, 48 speed, 36 defense, and 33 res. Ryoma's got a speed super boon naturally, and is bulking up a little for a good reason. For old skills, Ryoma's got Gust with attack and speed Faith. Third month in a row we've seen that combo on his sword infantry unit. Can we make it 4 next month? For his weapon, Ryoma's got Hoshido Raijinto. At start of either phase, if above 25% health, grant plus 6 defensive res, dodge, and debuff neutralization statuses to Ryoma and allies within 2 spaces. Ryoma gets slang and distant counter. If foe initiates or Ryoma has high HP, he gets up to 14 stats if he has 30 allies within 3 rows or columns. Ryoma gets 20% speed as Excel type flat damage reduction. When he triggers his special, he then gets 40% speed as true damage. Since Ryoma has attack and speed Faith, he hands out defense and res buffs. Debuff neutralization is always good, and then dodge for another 40% regular DR. Combat-wise, DC plus slang plus speed scaling true damage and flat damage reduction. Little different from usual, Ryoma only gets true damage on special triggers. Hoshido Raijinto isn't finished as it comes with its own style. Ryoma can attack from 2 spaces away, and he decreases the speed roll for doubling by 10 during combat. There's a lot more text here, but it's all restrictions for this ranged attack. Ryoma can't bypass Borg, and ranged foes can counter back normally. Ryoma is still treated as a melee unit for skill conditions, and you can only use the ranged attack style once per turn. For his unique B skill, Ryoma has Bushido Tenet. This time, these are all combative effects. At start of either phase, Ryoma grants Fringe bonus and no follow-up statuses to allies within 2 spaces. He has Phantom Speed for plus 7 speed. Ryoma inflicts minus 5 attack, speed, and defense on the foe. When triggering special, Ryoma deals 15 true damage and then extra damage based on his max special cooldown value times 5. He also gets DR piercing specials. Continuing, Ryoma gets 15 flat DR, he gets full on damage reflection for his next counterattack, and finally Ryoma heals 7 HP after combat. Good lord, they tried to shove in 5 years of power creep in one skill right there. Most noteworthy is the bonus level 4, Fringe bonus status. Ryoma's got Phantom Speed for Gust and Dodge. His 2 cooldown Gust would deal 25 true damage with full piercing. You then get 15 flat DR and damage reflection. Oh my. Ryoma will come with 2 inheritable skills. First, his attuned X skill is Tumultuous Echo. Quite simply, this is Brutal Tempest in the X slot minus the stat bonuses. It enables Kanto Distance plus 1 with a max of Kanto 4. Each turn you get plus 1 movement. Like Brutal Tempest, this skill is for melee infantry and flyers, so Tumultuous Echo will be quite strong. Mobility is always powerful, and there's a reason why they've been making 20 different Tempest variations. Ryoma's other skill is Duelist's Blow, another class skill from Fates. If unit initiates combat or is within 3 spaces of an ally, grant plus 9 attack and speed, grant full tempo effects, and give flat DR equal to X for first attacks. If initiating, this is 15 flat DR. On the enemy phase, you get 7 flat DR. Duelist Blow requires Darting Blow 3 or Warding Blow 3, just like Ryoma, 2 launch day skills, so another very easy to inherit skill. Duelist Blow is sort of just attack and speed Excel with tempo. It's like a counterpart to perfect attack and speed, except even though range units can run tempo, this will be a melee infantry skill only. Kinda strange. Now some things to note, Duelist Blow can give more flat DR than Excel if you don't move a lot. However, Excel might reduce more damage against specials. Excel also gives its flat DR for all hits taken. Duelist Blow only gives flat DR for the first regular hits or the first 2 brave hits. Attuned Ryoma will be another swordmaster with distant counter and a ranged attack style. The last time we got one of those was about 1 month ago. Compared to Brave Violet, Ryoma only gets a 2-space range attack, but he has 3 movement and contact distance. Violet's unique status gives 20% DR and has Nelsie Avoid for Nelsie Disrupt. Ryoma honestly would want both of those abilities. You could try to partner with the Fallen Leers, or you're gonna have to split up those effects. In battle, Ryoma wants to tank a hit, ready Gust with tempo plus Fate's minus 1 cooldown, and then retaliate with a DR Piercing Gust, empowered with 40% speed true damage, plus 25 Bushido Tenet true damage, plus the full-on damage reflection effect. He can do this on either phase with distant counter or his ranged style attack. Ryoma is kinda hard focusing on special procs, so be careful of Scowl. To survive attacks, Ryoma is banking on dodge since Gust isn't ready. If the foe were to have brave attacks, Gust would trigger its 40% DR on the second hit. Now, you actually can get around this with Arch Rival. It has guaranteed unpierceable 40% damage reduction on the first 2 brave hits. This acts as if Ryoma has 20% DR. The issue will be charging the forward crit on slaying our rival for the next counterattack, which has all of Ryoma's true damage. It's possible to do, but you're going to need things like Emblem Marth or Time's Pulse or Breath type cooldown. If you really want to complete with Abundance Nelsie Disrupt, you can also run Nelsie Disrupt Echo. These are changes you can make, but it's definitely a trade-off here. Before moving on, just to comment on how much flat DR Ryoma gets, it's pretty crazy. On the player phase, you can get 35 flat damage reduction, enemy phase is 27. You then add the 20% speed scaling Excel type flat DR from Raijinto. If the foe doesn't have DR piercing, Ryoma's going to stack dodge with his special for 64% DR, not too shabby from the Lopsy Lord. Now besides the adjustments we mentioned, for other skills, Ryoma could use Finish for more true damage. Since Ryoma only adds true damage on his special procs, you can also try to pre-charge with allies or Time's Pulse. You can also try Pulse on Blades for minus instant cooldown on the follow-up attack. Back-to-back Ghost procs could be pretty fun. Now since Ryoma is counterattack focused, you can slot in Hardy Bearing in case he does get hit by Desperation. If you have Legendary Black Knight or Harmonic Ingrid, you can also stack Reflex effects with the status. Overall, if you want another swordsman like Brave Violet, then Attuned Ryoma also fills that mixed phase, ranged, all-arounder role. Our last unit on the banner is Entwined Ash, so let's cover what the new Entwined Hero type does. Their gimmick involves upgrading the ally support mechanic. On top of the usual +2 stats between ally support partners, Entwined Heroes like Ash grant more stats. Ash specifically adds another +2 attack and defense for herself and her partner. Other Entwined Heroes are going to grant different stat bonuses. On top of this, Ash will allow you to reach S+ rank support. With S+ rank ally support, when on the same team, you no longer need to be within 2 spaces to get the bonus stats. S+ rank support gives the stat boost from anywhere on the map. You can also get S+ rank summoner support. The only benefits to this are simply +2 extra HP. This will bring the total summoner support bonus to 7 HP and +2 to all other stats. To incentivize pulling for Entwined Heroes, you will get 1 bouquet for each copy of the unit. These consumables can be given to other units, and they will now get the same benefits as the bouquet's original holder. For example, giving Ash's bouquet to Asker will now allow him to get S+ rank support with other allies or the summoner. He will give himself and the support partner the +2 attack and defense that Ash gives. Do note, a unit can only hold 1 bouquet at a time, and if you replace the first bouquet with the second, you're not going to get refunded. Because each Entwined Hero's bouquet will offer different bonus stats, you may want to wait till we get someone who gives bonus speed or res. Now obviously, we have no idea when each stat combo will be released. You may be waiting a long time if you're really set on one specific stat boost combo. Let's now talk about Entwined Ash as a unit. She's a colorless beast infantry like her OG form. For stats, Ash has 45 HP, 48 attack, 18 speed, 49 defense, and 44 res. She has a defense super boon, and she's going to be focusing on defense once again. For old skills, Ash has distant attack and defense form, which is just distant counter with up to +9 attack and defense if you have 3 nearby allies. She also has good old Lagoo's friend form. Ash's weapon is the Entwining Horn. At start of either phase, grant Imbue, Resonant Shields, and Lull to Ash, her support partner, and allies within 2 spaces. Ash has accelerated specials, and if transformed or the foe initiates, Ash can get up to +14 attack, defense, and res if she has 3 allies within 3 spaces. Ash will then have true damage and Excel type flat DR equal to 20% defense. The flat damage reduction will work on AoE specials. Ash has a free follow-up attack, and if she has 5 or more defense than the enemy, Ash will get Hardy Bearing. Like Black Knight, Ash grants Imbue, which is incredibly good for instant healing. Low and Resonant Shields grants more stat advantages, plus the follow-up denial with the free follow-up on the weapon gives Ash Omnibreaker. It sounds like Ash can give her buffs to her support partner from anywhere. Would make sense since the new S+ rank support also gives its extra stats from any range. For her unique C-skill, Ash has Hair of Openness. Like Asker, Ash gains a new transformation condition that includes any allies from different titles. She also transforms immediately on Aether Raid's defense. Now Ash will get Bulwark to stop enemy movement. Like her OG C-skill, Ash still has 2-space warping for allies. Now, for Ash's support partner or allies within 3 spaces, they get +5 attack, defense, and res, 7 flat damage reduction, and the 40% damage reflection effect. Not as good as Ryoma's full reflexibility, but still nice. Ash will get the same perks herself, plus an extra 7 true damage. Hair of Openness makes transformations easy, grants Bulwark, and Ash keeps her warping ability. She tacks on more support, and like her weapon and S+ rank support, she can buff her support partner from anywhere on the map. Ash is gonna bring a new inheritable special, Flame Wall. If you know what Ice Wall does, this is just the defense version. 4 cooldown special that deals 70% defense's damage. If specials are ready in battle and you're within 10 defense of the enemy, you get 40% DR for the next attack. Flame Wall is mainly here so slaying weapon infantry can have something to run with Lagu's friend. You can use Flame Wall on any other class, but it's definitely got hefty competition with Arch Rival now in the game. If you want the 40% DR guaranteed, Arch Rival is better, plus it works on brave hits. Now, for Beast units, Sturdy Beast doesn't need to do a defense check if transformed, but it's a 3 cooldown special. For the dragons, I would say Dragon Flame is just better than Flame Wall. You get more damage, 30% max HP healing on activation, and it doesn't do defense checks on enemy phase. That special is pretty good. For playstyle, Ash grants a lot of various support perks. Imbue is great, and while not reflex, she does have a damage reflection support effect. Ash grants a lot of stats with low and adds 7 flat DR with and shields. She keeps her nice guidance warping, but one thing to take advantage of is that Ash can give her benefits to her S+ support partner from anywhere on the map. This can be quite useful, and you can also get the ally support bonus stats, which are going to be +4 attack and defense with +2 speed and res, thanks to the new Entwined Hero mechanics. Now if you wanted to add on more support, Ash can stay out of danger with things like Rally plus Ruse or the new favorite B skills. Her base res is also decent enough where you can run the res based debuffs like Havoc or Discord. Might want to swap over to flat stat boosters like Fortifications or Stronghold. Now in terms of her own combat, Ash is running a basic Lagu's friend setup. Slaying Flame Wall is 3 cooldown. It's going to go to 1 cooldown before you get hit, and Ash has tempo so the actual attack will charge the special. The Flame Wall Retaliation is going to have full DR piercing, 40% defense true damage, and the 40% damage reflection effect. Ash can follow up if not stopped, and she's got distant counter to fight off ranged foes. For some notes, Ash won't get the 40% DR on the first hit taken unless you get another -1 cooldown. This is similar to Ryoma, but Ash can't swap over to Arch Rival if you wanted that 40% DR guaranteed. Now for brave hits, you could also run deflect seals if that's something you're concerned about. For other skills, Ash can run Sturdy Beast if you don't want to run Lagu's friend. Technically, D bonus Amp or Doubler can give more stats in distant attack and defense form. For other beast skills, Wild can give bread type cooldown and Bestial Assault can give 50% DR piercing, true damage, and a fun Kanto ability. Could be something to consider since Ash has her guidance warping. All in all, Entwined Ash isn't too complex. Giving her buffs to her support partner from anywhere on the field is interesting though, but for the other teammates, you're gonna need to stick next to Ash somewhat nearby each turn. That'll be it for this banner breakdown. If you don't plan to summon, we have a Grand Hero battle for Hinoka coming up. Very interesting choice, and he's a rare lands infantry unit. We'll talk about Hinoka more next time. Let me know your thoughts on this banner, and have fun with the new Entwined Heroes and the bouquets. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next video.